Then we move on to the age from 21 to 28. And the card I pulled there was the Sun. And the Sun and the King of Swords, actually. And I thought this to be very spot on, actually. This was the time when I had my first, I was a late bloomer, so I had my first real boyfriends from the age of 21 and onwards. And that was fun, exploring that whole thing. I went to the UK. I was a bartender with my best friend. We were in Bristol for a year, close to a year. Well, that's where I met my first real boyfriend, I would say, Paul. And what also happened in this from 21 to 28, I finished 2 master's degrees, bachelor degree and 2 master's degrees. I did a course in teaching English as a foreign language. I went to live in the UK. I studied in Oxford. I also had a semester abroad in North Virginia, in Norfolk, in America. And I went traveling around America. I also went to China for 3 months to study Chinese and to get a handle on, well, a little handle on the culture there, which of course I didn't in 3 months. But it was super exciting and the right thing for me to do. I almost got hitched at this time, but I decided to break up with a boyfriend I'd had for almost 2.5 years, and it was sort of getting serious. But I felt, no, this is not that direction of my life. So that happened as well. So a lot of things happened. I moved in with my best friend as we were studying, and just really growing in to be this young woman. So yeah, the Sun, absolutely. And I think because I did all this studying, there was a lot of emphasis on my mental capacity, my analytical skills, my way of reasoning, my rationality. Rationality was very important for me at this time. I was not spiritual at all. Actually, quite the contrary. I took great distance because I didn't understand it, and you couldn't explain it logically, and I hadn't had at this time any need for, or it just wasn't my time to explore that side of myself and of life. So the King of Swords, I think, is very. I relate to him very well in this during this time. So yeah, about mastering my mind. It was really easy for me to manifest everything I wanted. I have no idea how I did all the things that I did during this time. I really don't, but I had an idea and I did it. I had an urge to do something and I just went ahead and did it. So very much the Sun energy. And this golden dragon here also speaks of the Sun and the energy of the Sun, this masculine energy as well. Getting on with it. So that was that. I also lost my grandmother during this time, which was my first sort of loss in life. But overall, what really characterizes this time, I guess, was all the things I managed to do, and places I managed to go, and yeah. So now we come to the age of 28 to 35. Sorry. So 28 to 35, and the card I pulled for that time was the Star, or is the Star. Now this is a really interesting card, and I had to sit with it a little bit. Makes perfect sense in some ways, and then in other ways I just had to sort of let it sink into me until I got it, and I think I did. So during this time, a lot of things happened from 28 to 35. I was really getting my professional career up and running. I was part of many different companies, but especially in my last corporate job, I became a human resource business partner in a startup company, and it was very exciting. We were expanding rapidly around the world, and I had a front seat, and I was able to move into a position that I had dreamed of, that I'd studied for, and all this. So a lot of things happened here in that sense. It was also a time of series of heartache and um, being, how to say, in love with people without being reciprocated. Yeah. Oh man. So love wise, it was a bit poor in that sense, and during this time here. But back to the star here. What I gather from this star is that when I was 33, everything changed. Everything changed for me. My dad died, and it really opened up a portal for me. It was my time to start reflecting on life, myself, the nature of me, the nature of life, cycles of life, in a completely different way. And I was for the first time open to it. And I think that well, I don't think, I know the loss of my dad at this time really triggered that a lot. So off I was, 33 years, and a lot of things happened. I became aware that, if you see here, it's the reference to the three monkeys, right? See no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil. And what I began to feel was that in this corporate environment, it was becoming increasingly suffocating to me to be there. It was like this saying here in the Western understanding of it is that don't speak, don't see, don't turn the blind eye, right? And also I felt like I wasn't being able to be truthful to who I was, or to say the things that I wanted to say. It didn't have a place where I was, and it was making me, it was suffocating me in many ways on a soul level. So I knew I had to go. And then I left my corporate job. I went to India to do a yoga instructor course in the Himalayan mountains. I just basically left it all behind, and that's 2.5 years ago now. 2 years ago, yeah. And really scaled back on all my needs. I really started to think about how I was eating, how I was treating myself, what I was exposing myself to, and what was healthy and what really wasn't. And so I did a lot of major life changes at this time. And I think this changed here. This saying here had a new meaning now. Actually, seeing myself, seeing the world, seeing the truth for what it is, speaking my truth, speaking it unapologetically, and hearing, I guess, hearing no evil. I don't put myself, if I can avoid it, I don't put myself in situations where I feel restricted anymore. And I really try to open the gate here and tell myself that I'm not restricted anymore in any ways. But even as I'm sitting here, there's still this notion of being valuated, and it is still there. There's still ego in me, and I want to be accepted because I equate that to being loved, right? So that's a thing that I think is inside many of us, and that we deal with, and we look at, and we become aware of, and me now more so than ever. And I challenge it when I see it. But that doesn't mean it just goes away. No, it doesn't. But it can become your friend, and you can become aware. And I think awareness of your own limitations is the first step, right? So I also got the Knight of Discs, which I think was a perfect sort of dichotomy. Do you say that? So you have this ultra analytical dude here, and then you have this Knight of Discs sort of just scaling it back. He has no armor on. He's sitting on this white tiger. His destiny is like Buddha, here sitting on his destiny and allowing it to take him to where he needs to go, right? And understanding that we have everything we need, and this feeling of not having to go and look outside for answers. If we look inside, we find all the peace, all the love that we need, really. A lot of things I can say about this that resonates with me big time. So it was a time where I really broke the mold that I had placed myself in. Started to speak and see the truth as I feel it now, more than I can explain it. Yeah. All right, the last one. So I pulled a card. I just turned 36, the 2nd of April. Where is that card? Oh, here it is. So it's like I've started a new cycle. So from 35 to 42, we have the Wheel of Fortune. And I think this is exciting for me because it's like now I've taken on a lot, I've learned a lot, and now it's a matter of being clear on my purest intentions and allowing also the universe to sort of guide me. So sometimes we need to be the instigators of change, and other times we need to have just very clear intentions and have faith that things are gonna unfold exactly and the way they're supposed to. They always do, but it's this element of having faith and also not being upset when things turn sour or we're challenged, because we know it's part of a cycle, and we can let it spin us out of control, or we can keep our calm and we can find ways to find our equilibrium again and understanding, okay, how do I flow with the flow of life and sort of make my way up again. So I take this, I'm excited about it, and I think I'm super capable of it as well. And the card that accompanied that was this 3 of Discs. And that almost made me cry when I saw this, because I do have a dream of finding a lovely partner and birthing a child into this world, if not two. I have very clear intention about that, and I trust the universe. I'm a hopeless optimist anyway, so I think this will happen. I really think it will. And this card talks about the soul of the journey of the soul into the flesh, this little baby here, creating something like a gem, like a golden piece, something that's so precious. And in the Marielle guidebook, it says, take care to nurture the God-given gifts you have received, become the master of it, and benefit the world. So I think there are many layers to this that I'm going to have to sit with a little bit more as well. But allowing things and having faith that things are unfolding exactly the way they're supposed to, and that I am contributing with what I came here to contribute with, and to share love and peace and understanding. And yeah, that's a wrap, guys. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I hope if you give this a go, have a look at Imogen's video, and also let me know. I would love to see your response to this. And thank you. Take care. Bye.